My name's Cindy Vickers. I'm one of the personal trainers at Palm and created this chair exercise program. It's yoga-ish, but not exclusively yoga, for a variety of people. So it's sort of intended to bridge that gap. So if you are brand new, feel stiff, feel unstable, feel concerned that you've never done anything, you don't know if you can do anything, this could be very appropriate for you. But if you are somebody who is working out in the fitness center all the time and you're fairly strong, but you really need to expand some range of motion and maybe be a little bit detailed about some of the things you're doing for your alignment, this could also be the video for you. But I am here to tell you that I sometimes live by the motto of do as I say, not as I do. So I don't want you to look at me like I'm the perfect example for all these things, but I think I can guide you to whatever your level is in this. So here we go. We're going to start out slow, we're going to build a little bit, and there'll be some modifications in there as well. All right, so I'm sitting in a folding chair, and just want you to note that I have no sides on this chair, which will be helpful because we'll be turning side to side. And I'm kind of on the edge of my chair, not completely, and right now I'm going to take my feet a little bit wide. My toes are turned out just a little bit, but if nothing else, I want you to look at your feet and make sure they're doing the exact same thing. One's not turned out a lot and one's not turned out at all, that they're the same. And from here, you're just going to sit up tall. You can put your hands right on your knees and just take a moment to feel your sit bones in the chair. In a perfect world, when you're sitting in a chair, you'd be sitting kind of right on top of your sit bones. So just maybe notice that you can even feel them, but sink them into the chair, and then the top of your head raises up. Draw your low belly in a little. If that doesn't make sense to you about how to do it, don't worry about it, or just even imagine it. I mean, quite literally, imagine it. And just take it's going to take 2 or 3 deep breaths here. So close your eyes or take your gaze down toward the floor. Let your shoulders relax and just take a deep breath in. And just let it all out. You don't have to over-orchestrate this. We're just trying to settle into something as we're about to begin. And then let your hands slide right down the inside of your leg so that your elbows get to the point of about where your knees are, so they can keep your knees pressed open if they want to sink in. And you're just going to hang. So without seeing anybody, you just stay hanging. I already know that 50% of you are holding your neck and your head up. Let your head drop. Like you have a block of gold on the top of your head that's very heavy, and let it just pull you down. And breathe. And stay. Now listen before you do. As you're going to come up, you have choices. You can just pull your belly in a lot and roll yourself up, or take your elbows and put them right on top of your knees and your thighs and press yourself up to come back up to standing. Now we're going to build on this just a little bit. So hands come right out in front. This is your diving arms. So you're going to dive your hands down to the bottom, and then you're just going to pull yourself up, spread your fingers, pull your fingers back, feel like you can spread your collarbones out, look up, and then dive down and pull yourself back up, chest opens, arms spread wide, and pull back. Do that one more time. Dive down. Pull yourself up. We're going to do 4 more, except we're going to go down slowly and up fast. So it's a slow dive down, up fast. Do it again. Slow dive down, up fast. 3 more. Slow dive down, up fast. Slow dive down, up fast. Keep your arms out to the side. And by the way, if I say do 4 more, 3 more, anybody who knows me knows I can't count, so don't get too attached to that. All right, let's bring your left arm over in front of your body, and you're going to use your other arm either on your forearm side of your elbow or on your upper arm side of your elbow, just not on your elbow, to draw your arm into your body a little bit more for a stretch. And then keep your hand as close as you can to your body as you drag it back across and open it back out to the side. And then we're gonna reach across, add to that stretch. Elbow is up just below your shoulder height, drag it across, open out to the side. Let's do that 2 more times. I can count that far. Draw it over, stretch, drag. Your elbow and your upper arm are parallel to the floor. 1 more time. Let's hold that stretch just a little bit more. 3, 2, 1. Drag and open. Go to the other side. So by the way, if you're really wanting to increase your range of motion and stretch, you're going to hold your stretches, drag this arm for quite a while. 10 seconds for the minimum amount. Reach across, drag, up to 30 seconds, up to a minute. But you don't ever want to do the long stretches before you're getting ready to do some work that's heavy, like in a workout, because you will absolutely lose your strength. The long holds are meant to be done after you're warm and not before you're going to like lift weights or something or compete. 2 more. Little stretch, elbow up, drag it across, open that arm. 1 more time. All right, you can bring your feet a little bit closer together, just in any way that feels stable. And reach your arms down and hold on to the bottom of your chair. So we're just gonna do a little neck work. So I'm mirroring you. So your right arm is holding onto your chair, and then you're gonna take your left ear and tip it right towards your shoulder. I want you just to notice that your head is facing straight ahead. You're not looking up, you're not looking down. Just your ear sideways to your shoulder. You can stay right here. Maybe nudge that shoulder back a little bit. When I say it, I really mean a little. Don't crank it back. You can stay right here, or you can bring your left arm up, cross it over your head near your ear, and just let the weight of your hand add to that stretch. And breathe. And again, we're not going to hold these for a long period of time. Let your head go, relax it. Let's do the same exact thing 1 more time. So ear to shoulder, hand goes over to the other ear side, and just the weight of your hand is adding to your stretch. You are sitting up tall. Your sit bones are dropping into the chair. Your shoulder is nudged back a little bit. And then release your head and switch to the other side. So the more you get your hand underneath, the more you feel a little bit of a stretch drawn down the side of your body. You can feel the top of your shoulders back into your traps or your upper back. Ear to shoulder, nudge. If you want, hand comes over and looking straight ahead. Breathe. This breathing thing is highly recommended. And let it go. Do it 1 more time. Ear to shoulder, maybe a hand, little nudge, and stretch. And release it. I'm going to do 1 more neck thing. This actually comes from the Titleist people at golf. This is actually an important exercise if you're playing racket sports, but particularly golf. So turn your head as far as it's willing to go toward the left. Keep it that way. Chest up, shoulders back, but try to actually bring your chin down, trying to touch your collarbone. You can stay there, or you can take that left hand and now put it on the back of your head. Now you're looking to the outside of your leg here. You're not looking between your legs or at your leg. You're turned to the side. Chin's trying to touch my collarbone. And if I want to, or if you want to, you can add a little pressure with that hand to increase the stretch. Note I said a little. And then release your hand and your head. Turn to the other side, so you're going to turn as far as you can to the right. And then just like you're looking straight down in a line, trying to touch your collarbone. Nudge your left shoulder back, and you can add a little pressure with your hand. It could be a pretty intense stretch. And release it. Let's do that 1 more time. Because what I notice, and I'm only saying this because I think it matters, I'm 67 years old. I've had back surgery, I've had shoulder surgery, and whatever you could do wrong, I've already done it wrong. So lots of what I do is because of my huge awareness of all the things that you can do incorrectly that either don't help you or make matters worse. And I also think that it's never too late. That's my tagline. So let's turn our head, shin to collarbone, maybe add a little pressure. But what I see is that a lot of my clients, but not all, are close to my age, and almost exclusively I see so much restriction in their head and in their neck and in their upper body. So I like to not ignore that at all. I also didn't tell you before we started is that no shoes. I'm an anti-shoe person, so your feet have all kinds of muscles and ligaments in them too. They are a very important part of your structure, so we don't want to ignore them whatsoever. Okay, here we go. So we're going to take our legs this time about as wide as you can make them, and I want you to come right to the edge of your chair. Hold on if you need to, and turn your toes so they're parallel to whatever degree you're able to. Now, again, you can shift your hips back and forth so that you feel stable, but from this position, we're going to lean forward. Now, here, the modification is, you can lean forward with your hands right here on your knees, and you're just trying to take your body forward so you feel a lot of weight move into your feet. This could be where you want to, as far as you want to go. But as you lean forward and get more and more weight into your feet, you're starting to do something called loading up that back chain. So you're starting to work into your glutes and the back of your body a little bit. If you feel like you're ready for this, keep leaning forward until you can hover your hips just off your chair. You can even take your feet a little bit wider if that feels okay. Another choice, hands can stay here, or you can bring your hands in front. And now we're just going to shift side to side. So you can sit in your chair and just lean forward. You can make your feet wider, or you can hover your hips, make your feet wider and hover your hips. And this, I'm trying to not do this. I'm trying to move in this horizontal line, just paralleling the floor side to side. And you can, if you move away from your chair a little bit in front of it, you can get a bit more space. So let's just do this 8 more times for 8, 7, 6. You can also take a break whenever you darn well please, because I'm not there with a stick, or there's no palm police. 4 more. 4. I did mention I can't count, right? 2, 1. Come back to center. Maybe find your chair and sit back down. And breathe. I love that one. So when I love it, that means we're going to do it again, but we're going to add a forward fold with it. You'll see. So feet really wide. Hands can be on your knees. Lean into it. And the braver you get, just the more you lean forward and put more weight into your feet and less into your hips. If you're up for it today, you can hover your hips right off your chair. Hands on your knees or hands here. Here we go. 8, 8B. I'm counting down. 7, 7, 6, 6, 5. Belly in, chest lifted, tailbone up. 4, 4. I feel this. 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Find your chair. Bring your legs in closer, maybe just a little bit wider than the legs of your chair. And we're going to do a forward fold. Hang on to the chair. So you warmed up your hips a little bit. You can push your chair back or keep it right where it is. And you have options here to hold on to the edge of your chair and just try to fold forward. Or you can grab the legs of your chair and pull a bit to increase that stretch. And if you're feeling really flexible today, you can try to reach for the back legs of your chair. And they're just there so you can pull on them a little bit. But I want you to just lift your chest and feel like you could pull the very bottom of your ribs down towards your thighs. I said toward, they don't have to touch. Let's come out of it. I'm first going to put my hands on the bottom of my chair, then I'm going to put them on the seat of my chair, then I'm going to bring my hips down to the chair. whenever you're in these kind of stretches, I want you to find that place where they like to call it your edge. The edge is like, that's about how much I can stretch. Back off of that a little bit. Let's do that one again. All right, so I want you to be thinking about what that edge is and what is backing off. Because the biggest mistake I see with people is they push too hard in their stretches and they just keep their bodies locked up. So we want to be able to tell our body it's okay to let go. So, holding on to the edge of my chair, I'm going to do a forward fold. I might be right here. I could take my fingers to the floor. I could take my hands to my shins and drop my head. If I have some more flexibility today, I can keep reaching forward. But again, it's like the bottom of your ribs are reaching towards your thighs. And maybe grab the legs of my stool, and maybe grab the back legs of my stool. Hang out for 3, 2, 1, belly in, find the seated chair, have a seat. Bring your legs a little closer together, and I want you to take 2 deep breaths right here. I want deep breaths, and this is something to practice really, is to try to move your ribs out to the sides, to the front and the back when you take a deep breath. So your ribs are there to cover your lungs. If your ribs have to move out, that means you're bringing that oxygen down to the bottom of your lungs, and that's ideally what we'd like to do. So try not to judge yourself if it seems hard, because it is hard for a lot of people, but if you just practice it, it'll start to happen. So actually put your hands on the bottom of your ribs, maybe take your gaze down, take a breath in and try to make your ribs move out as you bring that oxygen down into the bottom of your lungs. One of the ways you know it's starting to happen is your shoulders don't rise up and down as you breathe. Your shoulders stay down and relaxed. You don't have lungs underneath your shoulders and in your neck. All right, we're going to do something called a hip floss. We're going to do a little intro to the hip floss. So this is a great thing for torso rotation. You'll feel a lot of work in your obliques. Those are those side muscles that pull your waist in. And if you participate in any sport where there's a racket or a club or a bat, you need to have as good of upper body rotation as possible, among 15 other things you need. So in this case, I just turn to my left, and because I'm going to continue to turn to my left, I'm going to take my left foot and cross it over my right foot. So whatever direction you're turning in, that's the foot that crosses over in front. Squeeze your knees together, and then if you're able to, you're going to turn and put your hands on the back of your chair. This is going to assist your twist. So we're going to take a breath in, kind of facing forward, not really into the twist. And on the exhale, we're going to turn toward the back of your chair. So you have your left hand pushing and your right hand pulling to just assist your twist a little bit. And then come out of it to breathe. You just rotate a little bit out of that twist. So it's breathe in, turn to your left, twist as you breathe out. Come out of it, breathe in. Up tall, exhale, twist. And you've got your arms to assist. Breathe in, come out of it. Exhale, twist. Now I don't know what just happened to your knees, but squeeze them together. Breathe in, squeeze those knees together, keep them together, twist. 4 more. Breathe in, breathe out. Looking over your left shoulder, kind of, maybe, hopefully. Breathe in. Twist it around. Belly in. And one more time. Breathe in. Again, I told you I can't count. Twist around. Now you're going to come back to center and go to the other side. So for you, you're going to your right. We're going to be twisting to the right. So your right foot crosses in front, knees together, find the back of your chair. And if you can't find the back of your chair, just go where you can go. It's a no judgment zone, by the way. We're like Palm Planet Fitness. No judgment. So here we go. Anchor your hip bones down, sit up tall, belly in, breathe in. Exhale, twist, as if you could look over your right shoulder a bit. Oh, I felt my back crack. If that happens, that's good. I think it's good. Ask one of the chiropractors if it's really good. Twist. Breathe in. That reminds me of something that I want to say because I think it's very, very important. If you have the privilege and luxury of being a member here, and by the way, I'm not paid to say this, we have every resource, I think, just about known to mankind. And if you are a client of mine and you have any pain in your body when you do exercises, I am strongly recommending that you see one of our providers, Ashley, or physical therapist, any one of the chiropractors, Dr. Kardashian, because we really want to address that pain. Let's do 3 more. In a very collaboratively way, so that if they have recommendations, you can also build that into your fitness routine, things that you need to add or things that you need to take out. But it is in your best interest to not ignore pain in your body. And I also think that it's important that you know that you can still exercise and work out. You just have to do it in a smart way. One more time. All right, then come back to center. All right, this is called, the next thing we're going to do is called hip flossing. If you've got some restriction in your hip joint and you're immobile, you are probably going to feel this. And this is another one of do as I say, not as I do movements, but my intention is, I told you I'm 67, and I've got a lot of issues I'm working through myself with the help of the team here. And my intention is just to be better at 70 than I am now. All right, so hip flossing, we're in it. If you were in a yoga class, you'd be in something close to a warrior pose here, but you're supported. So I have most of my left thigh on this chair. My foot is facing straight ahead. My other leg is moving straight back. I actually want to position myself so I can feel my inner thigh on this chair. It just helps me stay stable and feel like I'm a little bit more lined up. So I'm going to hug this chair a bit with my inner thigh, this one. All right, one hand's on the seat, one hand's on the back of the chair. If you turn and face me, this extended back leg is going to press into the floor till your whole bottom of your foot's flat on the floor, actually pressing down on the outer edge of your heel, the pinky toe side. Then I'm going to attempt to turn around and face the back of my chair, but I'm going to keep my foot flat for as long as I can. And for me, that's about there. And then when I can't keep it flat anymore, I'm going to let my foot turn and come up on the ball of my foot. So now both of my feet are facing straight ahead, and then twist to the back. And then I come back, you're going to face forward, plant that foot down. Big extension here for some people. And then keeping my foot planted, can't do it anymore, turn and face this way. So that's hip flossing. So this is very slow right now. We're going to do just the tiniest bit faster. Get ready. Plant your foot. Hug the chair with your inner thigh as you come around. Plant your foot. I feel this in this leg. So often people say, well, where should I feel this? And often my answer is, you feel it where you feel it. But that would also be a cue to me to check your alignment. So for this one, you're probably going to feel it here, but there's also this supported leg is doing a lot of twisting also. So just depending upon what's going on in your body, you might feel it more on one side or more on the other. One more after this one. Belly in, hug the chair, twist it around. All right, bring yourself back to center. Just take 1 second here because this could be a lot of hips, and just do some running right here in place. And if you were to say, well, what does this do for you? And I'm going to say, I don't know. It's just a break. in between. It's a little palate cleanser. All right, let's turn to the other side. I'm pretty supported. I've got most of my thigh on this chair, but I want, when I extend my other leg back, I want to be far enough forward that I can feel a little bit with my inner thigh. All right, so face me, plant your foot. There's no exercise that we do that I can even think of right now where I'm not going to say belly in. And then keep it planted as long as you can, and can't keep it planted anymore, and you may notice a big discrepancy one side to the other. Just note that. Planted, I can't keep it planted anymore, so I roll onto the ball of my foot and turn. And come on back. Plant it. But we won't do this today, but if, like in my case, this side's a lot more restricted, then I would say do 5 more on the restricted side than you did. So if you did 10 on each side, add another 5 onto the side that's restricted. And twist. Let's say 7 more. Plant that foot, turn and twist. Plant that foot, pinky toe side down, heel down, hang on to it. Oh, doesn't want to. Turn. 4 more. I think I'm infamous for not being able to count. And 3. I said before it's a no judgment zone, and I sounded like I was kidding, but honestly I'm really not kidding. I think guarding your thoughts is really important. So if you're doing something and you feel like it feels too hard, or you don't feel young enough, pretty enough, thin enough, flexible enough, please acknowledge that you thought that, and then change your thought to you are good enough, you are smart enough, you are beautiful enough, you are fit enough, you are thin enough. Don't put the thoughts in your head and the picture in your head of all that it is that you see yourself, that you are and that you want to be. But don't tell your brain to program you to be less than you are. All right, let's bring it right back to center. And this, as simple as this sounds, I think this is one of the more challenging things that we're going to do today. And I say that because most of us have hip issues with strength and flexibility. So we're just going to sit down and we're going to stand up with details. So you can readjust your, whoops, I'm going to move I don't want my chair to move. You can readjust how far forward or how far back you are on your chair as you go along. You just want to feel safe. But we're just going to stand up and sit down. So let's just do that first. So these are my hips, and when I say hips, I'm talking about those hip pointers or those hip bones. That's hip width distance apart. So you're going to be about that distance with your feet. So your hip bones-ish, your knees, and the center of your ankle and like your second toe are pretty much in one line here. Stand up. Sit down. Now, for a lot of people, standing up and sitting down and not holding on and pushing is very challenging. So you're going to do what you can do. But the goal here is to not let your knees move. Most people are their knees are going to shift in when they try to get up, so that's what you're guarding against. So everybody do it and notice your knees. If they want to go in and they're really wobbly, or even a little bit wobbly, then this is what we're going to do. You're going to put your hands on the outside of your knees, and you're going to put some pressure on your hands. Don't allow your knees to go out. Just put some pressure. Keep that pressure. Stand up. It's forcing the side of your hip to do its job, and a little bit of pressure to go back down. So that's one detail. I'm going to scoot myself back a little bit. The other detail is, let's start here. Press into your hands just a bit. Stand up. When you sit down, I'm going to turn sideways for a moment. The motion is always, first, this is called hinging your hips. So you first hinge at your hips, then bend your knees. That will generally line your knees up in a place that's safe for your body. So it's always hip hinge, knee bend. Now we're gonna exaggerate that, but when you normally sit down, you don't have to hip hinge, then sit. It's just kind of reach back and then sit. All right, here we go. So, hip hinge. You can put your hands out in front if you feel like you need that counterbalance to go down, that's fine. And if you have to have that to come up, that's fine, but still try to control your knees. Or put your hands right here with some pressure of your knees into your hands. Here we go, 10 times. Sit up, hip hinge, reach back and down. Sit up, hip hinge, down. Remember, again, your choice is you can have your hands out like this, but your choice is not to reach back for that chair. Take it up. I'm trying to control my knees as much as I can. Press up. Reach that butt back. Find the chair. 5 more. Bring it up. Stand up all the way. Straighten your legs, belly in. Take it down. 4 more. Take it up. Strong legs. Take it down. 3 more. This is something encouraging you strongly to try to remember. So right now, put it into your brain. You will remember this. Every time you get up and down out of any chair, anywhere, you're trying to keep your knees really still and come up in this very nice straight line. You have to think to try to keep your knees still. And maybe today they don't do it perfectly. I already know, I know that was 5, but let's do 1 more. It's a miracle that I knew it was 5. Put your hands on your knees, close your eyes, take a breath. We're going to go back 1 more time to upper body, then we have a few lower body things to do, and then we're going to call it a day. Because I can't believe I actually forgot to do this. So, let's do it now. This is my favorite exercise of all of them. All right, now your feet are fairly wide again. Toes are turning out a bit. Look at them. Are your feet doing the exact same thing? Nope. Nope. I mean, like, be nitpicky. Now they're doing the exact same thing. Take a moment, try to pull your toes up, spread your toes out on the floor. And we're going to slide one arm down. So my elbow is inside of my knee. If you have the range of motion, you can go all the way down to your ankle. That just pulled my hip right off the floor, off the chair. So I'm not going to go down that far. I'm going to go about halfway down. You can be wherever you feel that you need to be today. But you've got your arm here and your knee sort of as leverage. So your elbow can keep your knee from collapsing in, and then your knee can press into your arm to give you a little bit of leverage to twist if that's what we want to do, and that is going to be what we want to do. All right, so find your spot, chest up, hip bones anchored, and just reach your arm out to your side. So this is obviously my right arm, or mirroring you is my right arm. Just reach it out to the side, palm up, and then stretch your arm overhead. It's like your bicep is by your ear. Anchor that right hip bone down and stretch. And then open your arm to the side. And then do it again, stretch. When I say stretch, I mean, imagine that you could stretch right from your hip and your tailbone, and that stretch went out beyond your fingertips. Stretch. And kind of picture that in your head. And stretch. We're going to change it just a little bit. So now we're going to reach that arm back, chest up, and here's where I need my arm. I'm pressing my arm into my knee and I'm resisting so that I can roll my chest up toward the ceiling a little bit. And then my arm comes overhead, and now both of my armpits are facing the floor. And then I reach back, lift up, reach overhead, face the floor. Do that 2 more times. Reach it back, reach it over. 1 more time, chest lifts. Both armpits face the floor. Now take that right arm and drop it right down toward the floor. Same arm holds onto your other leg. So now you have your right hand holding your right leg, and we move to the other side. Anchor this hip bone down, palm up, and bicep by your ear, and stretch, and open. This is one of those stretches, these 2 that we're doing, that I think are really good for everybody. Anchor that left sit bone down and reach and open and stretch. Now let's take that arm to the back. So it reaches to the back, chest up, chest, armpits face the floor, reach it over. Reach it back, reach it over. Reach it back, reach it over, reach it back, reach it over. Now take that left arm that you've been reaching with and circle it down, right down to or toward the floor. Grab your other leg and stretch over. And we're just going to go back and forth. Circle down, stretch it up. Circle down, anchor your hip bones, stretch it up. If you're really paying attention, you will see that I'm moving my arms in different ways. You can move your arms any old way. This way I'm dropping my arm forward and down, and this time I'm kind of opening up like a picture frame, and then I'm dropping it down, and I'm picture framing, and I'm dropping it down, or I can bring my arm out to the side and over. It doesn't matter. But side to side is really all we're doing. All right, come back to center, roll yourself up. Just take 1 second here. Grab either the back of your chair on the seat or the back, chest up. In a chair like this, I can actually put my elbows on the back of the chair. That gives me a little bit more support. And belly in, chest up, pick your legs up. In, out, in, out. In, let's point toes. Out, 4, 3. If it's too much, don't do it. Now flex your feet. 4, 3, 2, 1. Put them down. All right, stand up. I hope you stood up with your knees stable. Okay. Just a little bit of leg work. So this is the whole movement. I'm going to pick my foot up and I'm going to put it on the chair. Then I'm going to pick my foot up and I'm going to put it down. That's it. It's the devil's in the details. So if you chose to do this and not hold on to your chair, be my guest. But I'm going to keep my hands right here. So you can do just like one finger for stability, or you can hold on for dear life, whatever you feel you need to do. But the details are that I'm going to put, now this is my right leg. I'm going to pick my right leg up and put it on the chair. My goal is to pick it straight up as opposed to swinging my leg out or swinging my knee out. I want to lift it straight up and there's no outward motion. So I almost fell over right there. So that's one part. The second part is, even though this is moving, this standing leg is probably doing more work. So I want you to stand up as tall as you can, get 1 inch taller, firm all of this up, and then pay attention to your feet. Now, I know this is a lot of detail, but it's all really important detail. So one thing to picture when you're standing on your standing leg is that you have a penny on the outside edge of your heel, the pinky toe side, the outside edge of your heel, there's a penny. And then you also have the ball of your big toe and your big toe. So when you're standing, besides standing up as tall as you can go, squeezing your glutes, everything's firm, push the penny down. That penny's on the outside edge of your foot, and also press your big toe down, or the ball of your big toe. All of that's going on here. Now we're going to put our leg on the chair. Knee up, place it, knee up, place it on the floor. Knee up, place it, knee up, floor. Up, chair, I'm just sweating to death in here. I don't know how much that shows up in the camera. Floor, up, down. I think this is number 4. We're going to try 10. Knee up, place it, which means 5 more. Here we go. 5, place, lift, down. Don't forget about this. Whoops. Find your penny, push it down, lift, place, lift. I did say do as I say, not as I do. Lift, place, lift. 2 more. Lift, place, lift, down, lift, place, lift, down. Just walk around to the other side. Same thing, other side. So put that penny, I'm going to move my chair over a little bit here. Penny's on the outside edge of your heel. Ball your big toes down. Keep that place, tighten up everything, get an inch taller. Here we go. Knee up, place it, up, down, up, place, up. It is never too late. Up, place, up, down, up. What number do you think this is? I'm going to say this is number 5. 5 more. Okay, I can feel it. Just stop for 1 second because I can feel myself starting to tip over. Notice that. Make the adjustment. Stand up straight. Lift, place, lift, 4 more. Lift, place. So if I was tipping over that way, I've got to press my big toe down. 2 more. Lift, place, lift, down, lift, place, lift, down. For real, I could feel that for sure. Okay, now we're going to get fancy. So I'm going to turn my chair around because I want to be able to get to the back of my chair. And I'm going to move the leg that's not closest to my chair, that is away from my chair. It doesn't really matter unless you want to add an arm, but just do whichever one feels best for you because you're going to do both sides. So now that I just said that, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to hold on to the chair and move the leg as close to the chair. That just feels better for me. I feel more stable doing that. So this is going to morph. You can just stand up and pick your knee up and then keep your knee bent and push your foot back. So this is just sort of the interim to the pushing your foot back. The detail here is try to keep your toe facing down toward the floor and actively try to feel your glute. All right, so not your low back, but your behind. So you can stop, you can keep doing this. I'm still lifted up on that standing leg, or I can start to straighten my leg and swing it a little bit, and swing, and swing, and swing. And now you can be in any of these places we're going to add on, so I'm going to swing my leg, and I'm going to reach down toward the floor. And I'm going to swing it in front, and I'm going to reach down. I said toward the floor, but if you can touch the floor, go ahead. My nails are really long right now, so I don't have to reach as far. I did that on purpose. You want to keep that toe of this leg that's in back pointing straight down. You're going to get more of a stretch in your leg. Your hips are going to be square to the floor, and you won't be able to lift your leg as high if you keep your toe pointing down, but not this. Let's go, 10 more, 10. And so you're at whatever level you want to be at. I mean, it could be in the kitchen getting some coffee right now, I don't know. 5 more. Belly in. Chest stays lifted. 4, 3, 2, 1. Same thing, other side. So again, for me, what did I just do this way? Oh yeah, I moved the leg that was standing closest to the chair, which you have an option there. So let's start with knees bent. Pick your knee up, push the wall away with your foot. Up, push. Really trying to think that you have glutes. I'm talking to somebody who had them turned off for most of her life, probably the first 50, 60 years, maybe more. You have to, some people naturally activate them, some people don't. They use their quads, they use other things, but they don't really activate their glutes. So I want you to feel it. Add the swing if you want it. And now we'll see about actually moving down and reaching toward the floor. And you can do it at your own speed. I'd like you to do at least 10, but I think it's not a bad idea to go pretty slow for the first 4 or 5, and then you can add a little bit of a higher tempo if you want to. Let's say 5 more. 5, 4, I can count. 3, 2, 1. And when you say one, you have to still finish the move. I think that's just a tricky little thing my clients do. When we get to one, they think that they don't have to do the last one. All right. In your real life, if you want to do 3 sets of any of these things, go for it. Okay. We have like 4 more things to do. Really 3. Okay, so this is something for your scapula. And by and large, I'm going to actually turn this way. My hair's not hanging in my face. People have limited shoulder range of motion, and some of it is because their scapula, their shoulder blades are not really secure and stable on their backs. So even though you feel a lot of this in your shoulder, this is really meant to be a scapula exercise. This is another one. This is another thing that's very important if you're somebody who plays sports. So you have 2 choices. You can put your hands on the back of the chair, which will be a little bit easier, not a lot. Or you can put your hands on the seat of the chair. Be a little bit harder, but it's not really significantly different when we're using the chair. My right hand is planted on the back of the chair. My left arm is going to reach out as far as I can. My palm is down. Belly is in. That's just a given. It's a reach. Roll means turn my palm up to the best of my ability, and then lift my arm up by my ear. So I'm trying to keep my arm as close to my head as I can and as straight as possible. You do what you can do. It's deceivingly hard. Okay, here we go. It's a reach, roll, lift. And that's what the exercise is called, actually. Reach, roll, lift. I drop my arm to reach, roll, lift. Reach, roll, lift. Reach, roll, 4 more. Reach, palm up, lift. Reach out, roll, palm open, lift. 2 more. Reach, roll, lift. Reach, roll, lift. You ready? Other side. You might have forgotten about your belly. It's okay, you're not in trouble. But now you know. Pull it in. Right arm reaches out. Here we go. Reach, roll, lift. Reach, roll, lift. Reach, roll. When I say reach, I really mean reach out. Stretch your shoulder out. Roll your palm up. Lift. 4 more. Stretch it out. Roll your palm up. Lift. Reach, roll. 2 more. Reach, roll, lift. Reach, roll, lift. Now, because I know 90% of the people who watch this hated that exercise and couldn't do it, we're going to do it again, but we're only going to do it for 5 times on each side. Let's get it over with. Hands on the back of the chair, left arm extends out. Let's go for 5. Reach, roll, lift. Reach, roll, lift. Reach, roll, lift. Reach, roll. 1 more. Reach, roll, lift. Other side. Let's get it done. Reach, roll, lift. Reach, roll, lift. Belly back in. Reach, roll, lift. 2 more and it's over. Lift. Reach, roll, lift. Put your hands on the seat of your chair, pull your belly way in, and roll yourself up to standing. 2 more exercises. All right, upper body. This kind of chest, probably a lot more triceps. So, hands are on the chair, and you have some options here. Your hands can be flat on the chair, with my palms on the chair, or I can hold on to the sides. Or I can kind of have a morph of the 2, where I've got my pointer finger facing the back of the chair and my thumb, and then my others kind of wrap around. I sort of like this one, but regardless of how you have your hands, you're going to take your elbow creases, how they bend, and that elbow crease bend, you roll your arm so this elbow crease is facing the back of your chair. This puts your shoulders in a good position, but it also is going to make you work the backs of your arms a whole bunch. The farther away from your chair you are, the more weight you have to push, so it makes it harder. So I can be I don't know, maybe my feet are 2 feet away, and I'm gonna bend my elbows. My arms will actually hug my body as I go down, so be very aware. Elbow creases forward, elbows bend straight down. And I'm gonna bend like that and press up. There's a lot of arm work right there. Or I can step back a little bit more, make it a little harder, or I can come right into a push-up position. So if you're in this push-up position, push your tailbone down, lift your chest up, look right over your chair and be aware of not leading with your face. So it's like your sternum is going down and up. And again, 2, let's do 10. Belly in, 3. Push your tailbone down, 4. Elbow creases forward, 5. And push, be strong. And 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Keep your hands where they are. Step your feet forward a bit if you've been extended out. If you're close, you may have to walk back and reach your tailbone up and back and let your head drop. Here's some more details. So keep leaning back with your hips. Spread your fingers and make your hands flat on the chair. Now have a sense, your knees can be soft. We're trying to keep them sort of straight, but I don't want this. But they don't have to be locked out. Have some sense that you're lifting your armpits up a bit and you're moving your shoulders away from your neck or away from your ears. And then lean back, and your whole spine is trying to drop through your body to the floor. Big shoulder stretch there. And breathe. I think we should do those one more time because we only have one more exercise. Okay, one more time for 10. Put your feet where you want them to be. Elbow creases forward. Here we go. 10, 9, press my tailbone down. What's that, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more stretch back. Last exercise, and we have the resting pose. So, a lot of this was upper body and a lot of side stretching. So I'm going to make sure that we hit those glutes a little bit more. So here's the chair. I want to, this is easy because it's light. I'm going to push my chair back enough so that I can have my heels on the chair and a little bit of my calf, but I don't want too much of my calf. It just gets in the way. Bridges. You can do bridges and not use your glutes at all, and it's a glute exercise. So you have to really think to engage your glutes. So, heels are on the chair, palms are down. I'm going to kind of lift my chest a little bit and kind of wiggle my shoulders underneath me so I can really press my shoulders down to the floor. And the bridge is simply lifting your hips up. And you're going to come up to the fullest extension that you have and think that you're engaging your glutes. Now what's going to help you engage your glutes is if you do these two things with your heels. My heels are on this chair and I'm going to push down, like straight down to the floor, which will also help lift me up. But then I'm also going to pull my heels toward my hips. So I can't really go anywhere. It's more of an isometric action, so heels push down and heels pull toward my hips. You can see my chair move there as I push my hips up. I'm pushing down and I'm pulling my heels in, and then I'm going to lower down. So we've got 10 like that. All right, heels down, pull your heels toward your hips, lift it up, lower it down. If this feels ridiculously hard and you just can't do it, just push your heels down and pull them in without even lifting up your hips. Or maybe try to lift your hips a little bit without too much pressure of pulling your heels in. But wherever can, heels push down, pull those heels in, press it up. 7 more. Lift and lift. Generally speaking, I think the exercise that you hate the most is probably the one that you need the most. Push, pull. 5 more. Push, pull those heels in. 5. If you might feel it a ton in your calves, you might feel it a ton in your hamstrings, but definitely make sure you feel it in in your glutes. In fact, put your fingers right there. See if you feel it, muscle engage. 2 more. 2 and 1. Now, I hate that exercise, so means I need to do 2 more sets, but we're not going to do 2 more sets, but feel free. We're going to go right into the very last thing that we're going to do, and it's nothing but relaxation. So, and this is when a chair is perfect. So I'm going to bring this chair closer, or if you need to, scoot yourself up to your chair, but you want to get so close to your chair that you can put your entire calf on it. So my whole calf is on my chair. I love this one because my toes kind of rest on the back of the chair. Turn your palms up, and then you just lay here. And what's so great about this pose is it just takes every single bit of pressure off of your back. So you can just be, it's almost no matter how you feel, if something doesn't really feel good in your hips, particularly your back, if you can get yourself on the floor and in this pose, and you just let gravity and the floor hold you, there's nothing for you to do except just think, relax, 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 relax. And this support of your legs means that there's just literally nothing pulling or twisting or pressing on your back. Even if you have your legs straight, that still, depending upon what kind of curves and arches and movement you have in your lumbar spine, that can also still be uncomfortable with people if their hip flexors are tight or there's other low back issues. So I'm not saying don't lay on the floor like that, but if you do this, just because you just want to get relief and really rest, this is dreamy. Palms up, that's the only detail. And you can stay here for the rest of the day if you want to. All right, whoever watched, thanks for watching.